Do you want to buy a car, but you are afraid of buying the wrong car from the wrong dealer? Well, worry no more. Welcome to Musso and Hyde Motors and Shipments. We are the #1 and leading car dealer and shipment company in the Gambia. We ship cars from all over Europe to the Gambia, or to the country of your location, at a very reasonable and affordable price. For $140,000 upwards, you will get a very good car with no problems. Plus all the necessary documents including car insurance, plate numbers, and more. We accept installment payments as long as there is a strong agreement that will be respected by all parties. That is, pay a certain amount and complete the rest based on our agreement. If you buy a car from us, and you are still not satisfied with the car, we are always here to renegotiate and come to terms with you. Because your satisfaction as our customer is our motivation. For any type or brand of car you want, we are your perfect car dealer. We will make sure you get the car of your choice and ship it to your preferred location. For more detailed information, please contact us on WhatsApp, or give us a call on the following numbers.
Hello, once again, welcome. It's Politico time with the political man. I am Malik Jones on In-Depth platform, and yet again, another pleasure to have with me Samsudin Sar at this very, very crucial time. Crucial in the sense that, first of all, Samsudin, we have to give our condolences, pay condolences to one of our colleagues who passed away in the US. And of course, he was one of us, and even controversial as he was, yes. One must be very factual. We just have to say that Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un, to Allah we are from, and to him shall we return. My condolences. You were close to Panderi Bai. I knew him when he was here as a young journalist working for The Point, The Observer, and then later he was stringer for the Voice of America. And at one time when I visited VOA, I was told that he was stringing for them. My condolences.
Thank you very much, Malik, and once again, thanks for inviting me today. Yes, it was a very sad, really, incident that, Pandiri would die at this time. Nobody expected it. He was still young. And, but, like you said, to God we come from and to God we go back. And very sad, apparently, the message came to me from a very close colleague, Dennis Coker, Major Dennis Coker. He used to be in the army. They lived together in North Carolina. He was the one who really sent me the message, and I was shocked that it happened. But apparently he was not feeling well lately. He had some scary moments about 3 months ago, until he went offline for a while, but then, he recovered. But then, again, people are speculating, saying that, but the COVID also is really getting very deadly in the United States of America. And in fact, they're even talking about a new variant in South Africa, you know about it. And, it's killing people a lot. About 700,000 Americans have been killed by this COVID so far. Far more than the number of people killed in 1918 pandemic, the Spanish flu. So let's hope and pray that, the family gets it well. And as they say, as we all pray, may the Almighty God welcome him in the best place of Ajana. Yeah, that's very sad. But then
you were interviewed by him. You were close.
Oh yes, yes.
From a professional point of view.
As a matter of
what moments can you remember?
He named me. He gave me this name, Sam Lobster Sar.
Okay.
Because apparently, when I reconciled with Jame, I remember in New York, and we had a dinner together. Well, even Samba, so Amadou Samba was there, Mlamin Manga, and Secretary General, but then Carl Bayo. So we had a dinner, we had a good chat. Then when I left the hotel that night, he was the first I called to say, look, I have reconciled with Jame, I don't mind coming to your radio and we talk about it and everything. I said, we even had a nice dinner. And he insisted that I should tell him what we had for dinner. And I told him, well, it looks like seafood. It was seafood, but it was all shredded on plate. I just didn't know what it was. So I said, it was seafood. It was even late, Malik. I hate seafood at that time. It's saturated with cholesterol. So no, tell me what it, I said, looks like lobster. Whoa. Then it was Sam Lobster Star. Jabi gave him lobster and then he gave up, so it was, he would ridicule you. I mean, like, we reconcile afterwards and we will joke about it. In fact, there was a time when even I used to publish a lot in his paper, and every time I wrote a paper, I would sign Sam Lobster Style and he would take it out. So, but like I said, we used to chat, we talk. I have been to his program several times, especially the Leral Show, and, he was really very controversial, but he really loved what he was doing, passionate about it. In fact, in the end, that was all he did. Stay at home, conduct his radio, his newspaper, and influence a lot of people intercontinentally. So when they said Gambia, it wasn't only Gambia, Senegambia, Germany, France, everywhere. Everybody knows about Pandiri Mbai. His Leral Show was really a hot demand. And he left a legacy that I don't think is going to be easily replaceable. And because the man of his standard, his passion on the TV, definitely, radio, I wonder whether anybody can do it better than him. So, yes, once again, our condolence to the family and everybody,
Did he have some associates that he worked with, because we just cannot imagine him passing away now and all of a sudden he goes away with freedom.
Apparently, in fact, the day after he passed away, I mean, the Freedom Radio was still on, and he was playing a program that he recorded the day before the nomination, and he was talking about the nomination, who should qualify, who shouldn't qualify, and finally even gave his prayers that let's hope and pray that we'll all be here on the 4th to witness the incident. He leaned towards President Barrow. He was, die-hard, I don't know whether he was anti-UDP, openly. But he had people like, I don't know. No, Pasambajau was never part of it.
Okay, all right, okay.
He was just a guest he invited.
Oh, all right.
He had, but he had Sister Oli, who had a program, Maricham, they had programs with him. But these people, I don't think were really into it that much. The closest person, the person closest to him was to some Ibu Jallo.
Ibu Jallo.
Yes.
Your Ibu Jallo.
My Ibu Jallo.
Very well.
But, at some point, even the Leral Show was to be conducted on that radio. But the last minute, he said, no, I don't want it. Then that's when we started that Leral Show. And since then, we never went back to the radio. But I think it was purely a pandering thing. But like I said, day after, and I even think now, they are repeating his programs. I don't know who is doing it, but to take the seat of pandering, I think that's going to be very difficult. Yes.
You wouldn't want to see the Freedom online radio die out just like that?
I wouldn't, really. I wish they could get somebody. But these are special things in life. There are special people in the world. They are very difficult to replace. Like the Muhammad Ali's, the Peles, the Barack Obamas. Pandering is, I think, one of those icons who is going to be very difficult to replace, because the way he conducted things, only Pandering could do it. He didn't care treading on your toes. He didn't care, he would just do it the way he wanted. He broke all rules, but still entertained a lot of people who loved it. Even in the Gambia, I know family members who every Sunday or every day they would listen to Pandering. So definitely he left a mark that we are all going to remember him for.
You're watching the Politico with me, Malik Jones, my guest, Samsudin Sar. Let's come back home.
Yes.
Too many things happening.
Yes.
The political climate, a little bit, there's stone throwing.
Yes.
Between the incumbent and GDC. We know of that.
Yes.
War of words. We also heard of some social media thing about the fainting or dehydration, as they may want to say,
yes, yes.
of the UDP leader.
UDP leader.
We also learn about the court ruling in favor of Citizen Alliances
GMC.
And GMC. These are all things, and the IEC now, in fact, appealing against those judgments.
Yes.
All right, let's take these things in sort of one at a time, and look at it from a chronological point of view. And in doing so, we will look at, let's say, from nomination. The IEC said both Ismaila Cissé and Maifati did not get the required voter registrations from Banjul to endorse their candidacy. And that was what disqualified them. And eventually they went to court to get some sort of a reprieve from being expelled from running the race, disqualified from running the race. And having done so, the court, not only did the court say that they were qualified, but the court gave them some money in their pocket, $200,000. All right, let's sort of break it down into perspectives. If the court said that 80 registered voters need to be replaced by Citizen Alliance, that means Citizen Alliance was short.
That's correct.
Of 20 registered voters.
That's correct.
Now, where did it happen? Where did it come that they should be qualified? This was a question I put to the Director of Communications today.
Director of Communications,
of IEC.
And what did he say?
Yes, and he said, yes, he cannot understand. I said, if he's short of 80 registered voters, that means he wasn't qualified. Then how the hell on earth,
yes,
or what did the judge, Amina Saho, relied upon to say that Cissé qualifies?
I got the answer there. Because according to the judge, if you listen to her judgment, there is a caveat that says that if you don't have the required number of votes, the IEC should allow you a second chance to go and get them corrected. That it is part of their 12 points. I am not sure whether it is there or not, but this is, if Pa Khan tells you that he doesn't know how that happened, and so he should be fired. Because that means you don't know what the heck you are working on. But this is what the judge said. Whether that is there, I don't know. But she said that upon submitting their number of votes and it goes short, there is a clause that says you should give them the chance to go and find the additional number of votes.
I follow you.
Yes.
Very well.
And in fact, somebody told me that yesterday in Banjul,
They did.
that
Dr. Cissé?
Dr. Cissé was going around looking for this, which to some extent is not only, it shows some degree of not knowing what you're doing, not very competent in your work, and a little carelessness, because he should not have allowed the process to go through this. He should have avoided this. If Baifal could do it right, I would doubt how they really failed to do it right, both of them. But that said again, I only hope that this clause that the judge is quoting is true. Otherwise, I will question the reliability of our judiciary. Because we're talking about one judge against the whole IEC. When they talk about the courts, it sounds big. Or the courts, you think probably, number of judges sat down.
There was a jury.
Yeah, thank you, a jury. But this one judge who really came out with this counter decision to the IEC decision. But And so many times it has happened. Because now, you know, in fact, I was very upset with the lawyer when Lamin Jai asked him, why did it happen? Are you surprised that the judge came out with this verdict? He said, no, I'm not. He said, are you serious? Yeah, I'm not. I knew it was going to happen. Wow. And then the question was, why?
Rudely interrupted, I would say, by Nawek. But we are back again. And yes, we're looking at the judgment of Amina Sonko.
That's correct.
Amina Saho, rather. Amina Sonko, wherever you are. My apologies.
Amina Saho Sisi, I think.
Amina Saho Sisi, yes. Yes. Mm.
And yes, like I said, you know, their lawyer, IEC lawyer, was asked whether he was surprised by the judgment, you know, and he said no. Why? He said, didn't you hear what she said? It was ridiculous because I couldn't imagine the lawyer representing the IEC talking that, you know, dumb.
He should have been fired by the IEC.
That's what I said. I said he should have been fired by the IEC. But again, you just confirmed it, but I heard about it last night that the IEC was going to appeal the judgment of this particular Amina Saho Sisi. And, you know, which I think is still winnable. And perhaps if it is not, if a decision is not arrived at, they take it to the Supreme Court, which could drag well after elections. So, and I don't think even this gentleman was saying, these two have time to start an effective campaign now and get, you know, involved in the process.
Amina Saho is the same judge for both cases.
I did not even know that.
Yeah, she did. She presided over the Mai Fati one as well.
And the Mai Fati. Well, if she could do it for Sisi, well, you know.
Well, my worries are, if at all the IC appeals and they did not make it, how will Dr. Sisi and Mai Ahmed Fati run the race? Now remember, they have been awarded a $200,000 seat.
Depending on whether the judgment is going to stand after it's been appealed.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, if the appeal from the IEC doesn't go through, then that means they will be awarded this $200,000 seat.
Like you mean if the IEC should win their appeal?
If they don't.
If they don't, most likely they will.
Now, $200,000 seat, for Christ's sake, that is peanuts.
That is.
Considering how much money these people must have invested, and the prize, which is the office of the president, because nobody can tell, you know, who was going to win. It's an undecided race, a race that has not yet begun.
That's correct.
So I think I don't know what's on their minds, but if I were Dr. Sisi, I mean, I would ask for $10 million. I don't even mind forgoing the presidency and the elections there.
You know, like...
But the costs involved.
Yes. Purely hypothetical now.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, but I expect them to really take some drastic measures or serious measures after this thing. I am also looking at it from that angle of suing the IEC if they really fumble. But it is pretty much possible that they are right still, because it's their word or it's their decision against one judge so far. You know, that's why I like the jury system. And, you know, again, Malik, I want to look at how Ghana conduct their IEC.
And the appeals and stuff like that.
Yes, Ghana, they have an independent unit called the Inspector General Unit that monitors the activities of the IEC. Where they go wrong, they tell them before the public knows.
Like an ombudsman's office.
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly. You know, so I think that would have helped us a lot, because nobody is monitoring what these guys do. You know, they have done series of mistakes. You remember the Malik Law issue?
Yeah.
Attestation right, which was taken to the courts. I don't know who passed that judgment, but probably another one judge threw it out. I don't know what happened later, whether those who were already registered still have their...
Well, they still do. They still do. Because no party went forward to say, we want these names to be struck off.
Yes. So, you know, those things, I think, could have been avoided if they had sort of an ombudsman-like unit that really monitors what the IEC does and what they don't do right, you know.
So, in a nutshell, the IEC has fumbled.
I think
along
so.
the way.
Yes, I think so. Several times, you know, starting from 2016 elections, the two results, very controversial, almost threw the country into civil war, and to my surprise, with all the commissions established after, you know, after the victory, they forgot about a commission to look into how that happened. We still don't know how it happened. Which was
very important.
Very important indeed, because I'm afraid it could be repeated, and if it happens again, I don't know where we are going to go with that.
Now, from what I'm reading, I mean, there's a lot of mistrust of the IEC now, and that is not good for the elections.
That is correct. That is correct. I am afraid that anybody, any loser, could get up tomorrow and say, I am challenging these results to the courts, and then the judiciary will have to decide. And I don't trust them either. You know, so it's a critical moment. I wish we could go through this, but I am hoping and praying that after this 2021 election, the new government of Adama Barrow would look into both the IEC and the judiciary and try to really, you know, make it a dependable and trustworthy of both of them, not only one, both of them dependable and trustworthy to the population. Otherwise, I don't know, we might one day run into a major chaos because of these two unreliable forces.
There isn't much time. We have virtually nothing more than a week now.
8 days.
8 days to go.
Yes.
The situation of my Ahmed Fati, Dr. Ismail Sise, we haven't heard nothing. And in the event the IC doesn't win, they are at a disadvantage to run the race, because the others have already campaigned for almost, what, two weeks?
Yes.
And they haven't started.
No, I don't think they are going to really, but at this time, I don't think they are much concerned about participating.
Then they will ask for compensation.
Yes.
And that should run into millions.
That's correct.
$200,000 is nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Do you want to buy a car, but you are afraid of buying the wrong car from the wrong dealer? Well, worry no more. Welcome to Musa and Hyde Motors and Shipments. We are the #1 and leading car dealer and shipment company in the Gambia. We ship cars from all over Europe to the Gambia, or to the country of your location, at a very reasonable and affordable price. For $140,000 upwards, you will get a very good car with no problems. Plus all the necessary documents including car insurance, plate numbers, and more. We accept installment payments as long as there is a strong agreement that will be respected by all parties. That is, pay a certain amount and complete the rest based on our agreement. If you buy a car from us, and you are still not satisfied with the car, we are always here to renegotiate and come to terms with you. Because your satisfaction as our customer is our motivation. For any type or brand of car you want, we are your perfect car dealer. We will make sure you get the car of your choice and ship it to your preferred location. For more detailed information, please contact us on WhatsApp, or give us a call on the following numbers.
For what purpose they were given that?
The judge did not even say.
Yeah, which should have been, you know, explained, I think. But I don't know what, then 200,000, just like that. That is why I really question also some of these judges a lot. You know, these are things that you should have. I listened to, that is why I'm not very happy with the IEC spokesman, I don't know, communication guy, and their magistrate, and their lawyer, because I heard the judge saying that there is this clause that says, if you are short in the number of that 200 requirement, you should be given a chance to go and get it. I heard it. So for them to tell us that they don't know why they did it is either evading the facts or not knowing what they are doing.
And there was also a statement that they made that they said that their decision and disqualifying you is final.
Thank you. That's another one.
Yes. So why entertain a lawsuit?
Thank you. In fact, to be honest with you, before the election, I even went up to the IEC house, concerned, asking questions, because I was more particular about a clause that talked about the diaspora voters, that people were going to hold on to that is mandatory, and if they leave them out, it is a recipe for appeal, But, in the process, I also talked to the inter-party committee members and asked them, I hope the IEC got it right, that these disqualified people is final, and nothing could come to say it was wrong. And all of them assured me, Malik, that this clause you're talking about, that nobody can challenge the final decision of the IEC. And I said, but what about if they take it to the courts? Guess what? They said the courts will tell them they cannot take it because the IEC law does not allow them to do so. So I was shocked to hear that the courts accepted it. When they accepted it, I know we were in for big trouble.
Recipe for trouble.
Yes. And that's what happened. So, either the judge also is deliberately sabotaging the system, or somehow, because Malik, I think this country could have really worked out an agreement over how to conduct these things amicably. The judiciary, the executive, even the legislative body, and everybody sits down and we say, this is it. I hate the idea of bypassing the Constitution to come up with your own rules. The Constitution, if they had followed it to the letter, most of those who even submitted their nomination letter would not have. People with dual citizenship. The Constitution says they are not eligible.
So why entertain them?
Why entertain that? So these things should have been worked out from day one.
Yes.
Hey, you have girls, so don't even think about it. It's just like in America. If you are not born there, however important, Schwarzenegger, Madeleine Albright, all those Kissinger, all those people were so great at some point, they were even thinking about changing the law to say you don't necessarily have to be born here to be qualified to run for presidency. But they are really stiff. They cannot just change that. You don't even think about it. It's just like, so when they say, the Constitution says, if you have a dual citizenship, you cannot run for office, why try? They will tell you, don't even try. Let the whole world know what is going on. But Malik, we did not even know the points, the so-called 12 points. They were not made available to the public, which I think they should have. For everybody to know, these are the points. In that case, we would have known from day one that, well, the IEC would go wrong if they don't give these guys a second chance, as far as it is part of their 12 points. I have not seen it. People are saying
neither have I.
Yeah, so they should have made it available to the public to know what is going on, and we would have avoided all this mess. This secrecy is ridiculous. I don't believe in it today, and I think really this is what is throwing us all into this whole crisis. And look at the Constitution. The Constitution, if we were to go by the Constitution, I don't think even Lawyer Dabo would qualify. But I think also there was an agreement to avoid chaos, because I have had
submerge the Constitution.
Thank you. Because I have had incidents where the UDP leader is saying that if he is to be disqualified, he could render the country ungovernable. That is really scary.
So the Maslaha syndrome was ineffectively put in place.
That is it.
And the constitution set aside.
Yes.
Is that the type of Gambia we want to see?
Well, it is the Gambia we have been running for quite a while. The TRRC was like that. The TRRC came with their own set of rules on how to run the TRRC, forgetting what the constitution says. And you know, that is why I question a lot of what they did. Like, because the constitution says the TRRC, look, you cannot get a criminal there, you cannot get somebody who is partisan, you cannot get, you know, all those things, and they disregarded all of them. You know, so the same thing with the IEC and many more. I don't know, the CRC, but at the end of the day, we are really not helping ourselves in
to build the democratic process that we would soon desire.
Exactly.
Something that we will leave for our children to copy and say that
Yes.
our fathers and grandfathers
Yes.
did us a good piece of job.
Yeah, hopefully.
Anyway,
Hopefully.
by Monday towards Saturday of the day of the elections will be a very testing time for the IEC and for this country as a whole. Now, the Jame factor.
Yes.
Jame has been intruding into the GDC rallies, which some people did not like. And I think there was talk that the president said,
Yes.
so and so, which I was not sure of. I don't want to misquote the president.
Yes, yes.
But there were some sound bites that Kande will be arrested if Jame ever intruded and his voice, something like that.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, but I think he backed off from that.
The president backed
Yes,
off.
yes, because
Okay.
after that,
Yes.
he never spoke about it. And I got from reliable sources that really it was something he probably impulsively reacted to,
Okay.
rather than something deliberate and calculated. But, you see, and I was happy that he did. Because I look at Mama Kande and I pity Mama Kande. Because when Jammeh comes to Mama Kande's rallies, he talks about himself and how he's going to take over this country. Yes. Even yesterday they sent me an audio where he's talking about on the 4th he's coming and he's going to take over the country. He's going to change a lot of things. You heard about even the Senegambia bridge name, he's going to rename it. It's not going to be like that. Education is going to be blah, blah, blah. And he used this 50,000 school-going children, primary school-going children who couldn't have access to education as his own, you know, his own doing. That because he is not here, that happened. And this is a UNICEF statistics that they reveal all over the world, in the showing that there are 72 million school-going kids, primary school, who cannot go to school because of series of conditions they live, and over about 757 million adults who cannot read or write and have no way of taking care of their families because they don't have the knowledge.
That's a global outlook.
You talk to Senegal, we're talking about almost 300,000 children. You know, so when he comes to say that I am not here, that is why this happened, then you are not only fooling the Gambians, but fooling yourself with those who are going with Mama Kande. Not on all of them. Mama Kande should understand that in 2016, he broke away from the APRC and took away all those APRC people who thought Jammeh was toxic, that they could no longer work with him. Now Jammeh coming to assure them that I am coming back to take over the party from Mama Kande, because that's how it sounds. How does that resonate to those people? Unless they are not thinkers, and I think they are. And again, there is also this group of Jammeh loyalists who for the past 2 years we are convinced by this Baitullah and Jammeh that there isn't going to be any elections. He's going to come, Russians are going to bring him in. This guy, up to yesterday, he made an audio that elections are not going to take place. Jammeh is coming back. And that's the crowd Jammeh is talking to.
It's that's fire creation.
That's it.
Incendiary statements.
Telling them that I am coming, and that's all they want to hear. I swear to God, Malik, I have met people who said they haven't registered to get voters card who are in this group, because Jammeh is coming, there isn't going to be any elections. And this is the crowd that appears in Mama Kande's rallies, cheering Jammeh, who talks only about himself and nothing about Mama Kande.
I have a different perception. I think Jammeh is fighting Kande.
This must
Because Kande brought Jammeh down, and the best way to bring Kande down is to go into Kande's party or his soup or his ballroom and create chaos and confusion and let people not vote him.
And not only that, but reduce him to nothing.
Of course, there's a possibility.
It's possible, because Jammeh, you listen, Jammeh doesn't even talk. If that was the case, he would not be this nasty on Adama Barrow and the Mandinkas. He has been talking about tribe again and all that, you know, and all those things. But what I'm trying to tell you is that there is this chunk of phony people who have been made to believe that there isn't going to be any elections, you know. And there is this Baitullah, they think he is a saint, he cannot even recite one surah in the Quran. And somehow they tend to believe him. When people, in fact, the day Panderi died, the next day, he came to tell them that he had a hand in Panderi's death.
Oh my God.
After announcing 4 of his family members who died the same day, and talking as Alalayake, it's God who did it. And then when he came to Panderi, he said, I said it, that Panderi would either die, he would die, or would be in jail before Jammeh arrives. And Jammeh should arrive in December. So that's the mentality they put in these primitive, gullible people, I say. And, but, you know, Mama Kande should have known better. I would have stopped Jammeh day one from ever coming if he wanted to maintain the team that walked away with him from the APRC in 2016. He is losing them in huge chunks. Because, of course, after the transition, after the change, most people went to support where they think benefits them, including, you know, APRC, most of them rushed to Barrow. Mama Kande, most of them rushed to Barrow. I see them. I see, in fact, in the beginning, most of them went to the UDP, because UDP in the beginning, you know, was in charge of the whole government, and a lot of them went to UDP. But after Barrow fell apart with Ousseynou, they all left Ousseynou and went to NPP. You know, so in the same way, you know, Mama Kande also lost a lot of people in the beginning who went to, even some of his parliamentarians, members of his National Assembly members, left the party at the middle, sabotaging them until he fired some of them. So that tells you that the people he left with against Jammeh in the beginning will not want to hear Jammeh coming back telling them that your leader is useless, I am coming to take over. You know, I think he's going to lose them rather than really gaining more votes. And like I said, don't depend on these followers from the phony, because most of them don't even have voting cards.
This is not what we hear from the grapevine. This is what we hear in the real world, real time, and in the real place. My ideas are like an iPhone whatever,
Nokia.
And yours are like a Nokia 3310. Was that a good comment to make with somebody you had a presidential debate with?
Yeah, it was rather condescending.
It was.
It was. Esa is always arrogant. You know that. I know the subject you're talking about, when it was stated, why and how. You know, at some point he realized that, you know, he was not as smart as he thought he would be in facing Khalifa in a debate. You know, he came with probably his lawyer mentality, his TRRC language, arrogance, dominance, you have no control. But before long, he realized that he was going nowhere. And Khalifa calmly and in an orderly manner was literally lecturing him on things that he was missing. And when he got under his skin, he thought, I would just finally send him my last bazooka. And he thought that was good. Yes, he got some little cheer from the crowd.
Which was not necessary.
I
hardly see that happen in the presidential debate.
Yes.
The crowd should have been told that there should be no applause.
Yeah, but you know, you have still these SFR loyalists who think he is, you know, superb, special. But what happened? He gave it to him. Good, Halifa. You prosecuted me. Something he hates to hear. Esa hates to be told that he was an active pro-Jame lawyer, prosecutor, and everything after the coup d'etat. When he was prosecuting Khalifa, we were told in Mile 2 as security detainees that our files were with him, he was going to prosecute us. But that's the first time I heard about SFR's name, in fact. This guy, I told you about Dennis Coker, who told me about this guy's death. Yes. He was at the army headquarters as Colonel Eko next to Babu Kapjata. When SFR came and took Sana Sabali's file and prepared all the case that locked Sana Sabali for 9 years in jail, when they accused Sana Sabali of that coup d'etat, that he brought Sana Sabali and made it look like it was a setup. And at some point, Sana Sabali was even explaining how he was tortured to a point where even his genitals were, you know, and he started crying, hypocritical crying. You know, so I don't believe that Asa should have even gone into politics. He should have left with the how would I put it, the secrecy of all his nonsense that he used to know. Because when you come to the spotlight, people see your spots. You know.
And I remember yesterday.
He was not under the spotlight, but when he came, people started looking at his spots, and they saw spots all over him. And you know, so I don't know, but I don't think he's going to gain any headway in this campaign. He's going to lose big. I only hope. I even thinking that he might lose his deposit. You know, but I don't really. I'm not his fan.
You may be closer to the information circulating. I was told that the TRRC report has been submitted to the president.
That's correct.
And it's been given a deadline to act upon it.
Which is ridiculous.
It is more than the word ridiculous. You cannot put the
17 volumes, thousands of pages. By 1 month, it should be distributed to the international community, where you are recommending people who should be prosecuted and others who should be denied any public office job in this country. Public, you know, yeah, I don't even, yeah. But Malik, how many people are there? We don't know. On what conditions were they listed as so that bad not to be employed in any public service? And those who are accused and final, if the TRRC was to have the power to finally give the recommendation of prosecuting people, they should have allowed everybody who appeared there to come with his or her lawyer. Because the essence of the TRRC was, when you come and you confess your crimes, tell it as it is, you are given automatic immunity for prosecution.
Absolutely.
But then,
now you want to prosecute them.
You want to prosecute people. You know, in my case, I am even afraid I am part of it, because they brought this Mbalo Kante, who said I tortured him. It was a lie. It was not supposed to even be part of their mandate. Yes, I've said it 1 week before, that the attack at Ferechefane is not part of their mandate. But he brought this guy to say that Samson Sar tortured me when I was not in the country that day. And I asked them to come and talk, and they said no. They don't want to listen to me. Now, imagine if my name is there to be prosecuted, and nobody is allowed to even look at it and see the
reasons why.
The reasons why, but just send it to the United Nations.
But why the United Nations?
and the African Union. I don't know, because you know what? They want to, day after, if Barrow starts employing people he thinks are going to help his system, they tell the United Nations, look at the report. They took Malik Jones. He is recommended not to be accepted. That's Jammeh Enebula. Look at this guy. And then they will start the war against that it is the Jammeh regime that has his back. The president of the Bar Association 2 weeks ago at the brunch with Lamin Cham said that Barrow is continuing the Yaya Jammeh dictatorship. President of the Bar Association. So you see, there is already a conspiracy to capture the state, to do what they want the government to do, or what they want the government to do, or they render it, give it all the problems. Do you believe, can you imagine in America, Europe, or everywhere, lawyers coming together to condition the government to do stuff?
It's unheard of.
It's unheard of. Reed Brody even, during that brunch, was asked, well, look, you are always targeting African leaders, not about Americans and so on. He said, you're not right, that's not right. I agree. George Bush, Donald Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney, Panetta are the worst criminals when it comes to human rights violations or crimes against humanity. But we try, but we cannot do anything about it. You know why? Because it's against the doctrine of American political system. They don't prosecute their presidents. When they asked Obama, he said, are you nuts? I am facing an economic crisis. That was the Wall Street fiasco, 2008. I have an economy to fix and not to pursue my predecessor. Now he is best friend of George Bush. These guys cannot, when they talk about investigating American soldiers in their atrocities in Afghanistan and Iraq, that was Trump warned him not to even think about coming to America. If he does, he could be arrested. So, you know, it's only in the Gambia. You have a bunch of lawyers, so-called rights groups, who think they should dictate what the government does. Malik, I don't understand it. I don't believe. When Dr. Sisa says we gave you 1 month to distribute this to UN, I just laugh. But I was glad when I listened to Barrow's speech. He talked about reconciliation, giving Rwanda as an example. With all the atrocities they prioritize reconciliation to run a better country than going after each other's jugular veins.
If you were going to advise President Barrow now in relation to this TRRC report, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to cast it aside. Take care of your election issue. After victory, hopefully he will win. I want him to win. Yes, that's it. You know, take care of your government, reorganize it, call some experts to look into the TRRC and help you make an informed decision on whether the white paper you are going to write is going to be the same as what is recommended. I think that would help him. If it is against the stability and reconciliation he wants in this country, do it like Gandhi. Look at what is good and you do it. What is not good, you leave it apart. That's what I'm going to do.
And it is upon that note, I want to thank you once again for joining me in Politico. You've said it all.
Thank you
and
very
you
much.
said it rightly as well.
Thank you very much.
That was Samsudin Sar, my guest this weekend. He was talking to me, Malik Jones, on Politico, on the In-Depth Media platform. We'll see you another time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.